Hi Denitsa, and welcome to the Frontline. To begin with, can you give us some background to the case and why it was taken to the Bulgarian courts?
Of course. The two women got married in the UK in 2018, and in the end of 2019, in December 2019, their child was born on the territory of Spain, where they were at the moment legally residing. And in the birth certificate of the child, there were the two mothers written as parents of the child. As the UK mother could not transmit the UK citizenship to her child, and the child could not obtain Spanish citizenship as none of the parents is a Spanish citizen. The Bulgarian mother decided to request the Bulgarian authorities to issue a Bulgarian birth certificate of the child on the basis of the Spanish birth certificate. So this is basically the story short before entering the court system in Bulgaria.
So when was the case first introduced and what was the initial response?
In February 2020, Sofia municipality instructed us to provide an evidence that of the origin of the child regarding who is the birth mother of the child. And let me translate this. Sofia municipality asked us to provide evidence that the Bulgarian mother gave birth to the child. And of course, our answer was very definitive, that we are in no way obliged by the Bulgarian legislation that such information should be provided. And of course, we refused to provide such kind of information. And maybe a week later, we received a refusal from Sofia municipality. And in the beginning of March 2020, we entered the complaint in the administrative court in Sofia city. There is still no outcome of the case. Like once our case was entered in the administrative court in Sofia, we were having exchange of documents which were needed in order to proceed the court case, and before the first hearing of the case, it was also a very impulsive decision on behalf of the judge, and I was not ready for this either. But the judge decided to send the a referral with questions to the European Court of Justice.
So the case has now gone to the Court of Justice of the EU for clarification. Can you expand exactly on what clarification was asked for, Denitsa?
Well, we have a couple of very important questions that were referred to the court. And the first one regards whether the Bulgarian authorities can refuse to register the birth certificate of a child only on the basis of that in the original birth certificate issued by the authorities of another EU member state, the child is written to have two mothers. This question, the answer of this question, will not only have its importance for the Bulgarian birth certificates of children born outside of Bulgaria, but it will be very important questions to all these children all around the EU who are left without no citizenship, or who are left without one of their parents because the country where they reside does not want to recognize the foreign birth certificate, only on the basis that two parents of the same sex are written in this birth certificate.
And how hopeful are you that a positive clarification will come from the CJEU?
I am looking on the case from the perspective of the EU law, and this is how the questions referred were asked. from the perspective of the freedom of movement of EU citizens, and this child being a EU citizen, meaning the Bulgarian citizenship, provides the child with an EU citizenship. And from this perspective, and from the charters of fundamental rights perspective, I am quite positive that the outcome will be positive for the community all around the EU.
And how does it fit into the LGBT rights landscape in Bulgaria?
Well, maybe you know the situation in Bulgaria, but we basically in Bulgaria lack any legislation regarding the rights of LGBTI people. So basically, the only legal act which protects LGBTI people in the country is the Protection Against Discrimination Act. And it protects from all kinds of discrimination. However, the institutionalized discrimination, and this I mean the non-recognition of LGBTI families, the lack of legislation regarding SOGI crimes, the lack of legislation concerning trans people to change their legal gender. These are not recognized as discrimination by the Bulgarian Commission Against Discrimination, and it provides tons of rights that LGBTI people in Bulgaria lack just because of the lack of these legal acts. A research done by LGBT organization Действие in 2018 shows that in the civic legislation in the country, there is a lack of over 300 rights that LGBTI people in the country are deprived of only because of the lack of recognition of the families of LGBTI people. And another research by Действие done at the end of 2019 on the criminal legislation in the country shows even more rights that are not in the legal realm of LGBTI people, meaning that not only hate crimes, but also LGBTI people perceived as criminals, or when in jail, or when they have to provide information as evidence in certain cases, they are not recognized as special persons and who need special protection or special to be recognized as a subject in the whole scene of the criminal procedure. So these are we're talking about more than 400 rights that LGBTI people lack in the country.
So in the context of those 400 plus lacks in LGBTI rights, how important is this case?
I would say it's very important because Bulgaria is making small steps in the recognition of rights of LGBTI people, and especially when it comes to recognition of foreign marriage certificates and foreign birth certificates. Last year, we had the first case where a foreign marriage same-sex marriage was recognized by the Bulgarian authorities for the free movement of people across Europe. And it was a big step for the LGBT rights in the country. And I am very hopeful that this case right now will make the second biggest step concerning LGBTI rights in the country.